And starting again now with transcription, if it goes haywire again, please someone just yell at me because I do have the chat open, but I'm not looking at that screen. And really, any questions anytime, also just give a holler. So we have here FSA stuff running across the bottom. You can enter anything but a special character, and it'll break it up here, trying to match it to what Nutman used to do when it would break apart those sheets. So we have here the information on the row running across the top will now be across every single page when you go to print that. And it's in pretty much the normal order that you are used to seeing it, with the field, land unit information, the year, the crop, what the need is for that specific crop, residuals, season, manure biosolid rate, the application, or incorporation method, and then the analysis or application that's coming out of whatever your manure biosolid rate is. And then here's where it switches up a little bit. This nutrient need, this net needs, would split in between the manure biosolids and commercial fertilizer. And it would basically say, by applying this manure, you have this amount left, and it really won't subtract from it. So what we're trying to do is, because it says net, which is needs minus applied NPK, meaning, to kind of summarize it, all of the net applied, it's going to subtract not only what your biosolid and manure application would be, but also what your commercial would be. It doesn't do that right this second. It's still only subtracting the manure application. But when the next update of the balance sheet comes through, it's going to subtract this commercial. So it will be the true net application. So instead of this saying 63 here, since that's what left, I have, it was 100, applying 37 pounds of nitrogen from your manure, leaving 63 left. This, after this summer application in the next update, will be 13 because it will subtract this 50 from it. I know those columns switched around and it doesn't quite follow what it needs to yet because it's still not subtracting that, but that is the end game of moving this net column to the end of commercial and manure application. So you are looking at the true net application of nutrients. It'll make commercial fertilizer plans kind of match up a little bit easier to see what those applications are. So for the time being, still not subtracting the commercial, but that will be in a next update. And then again, you have your sum P removal credit, and we move to the end, the line recommendation and the notes. The notes here will display as that number. I don't have any notes here, but if you then go down to the bottom tab here and you click over this way, you'll see your notes, and it'll have in here the number, the title, and the body if it would be filled in. So if this is number 1 and I had it as splitting nitrogen on corn, it would say 1 split N on corn, and then the body would be whatever I would type in there as a note. And so that's the balance sheets in general going across it. And like I said in Gen Summarize, this balance sheet is every single land unit in that plan that you're working on. And then if you do break them out by tract, it'll run down here on the bottom. So my FSA tract number 125 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fields, 4 or 5 fields in it. And if I just wanted to print that, I could. So now that we have a look at the balance sheets, what do we do to print them? If you want to print all of the balance sheets, you could certainly just click on the balance sheet. But the one thing to be able to print multiple books at once, say you want to print the cover sheet and all the balance sheets, you'll hit Control and then click on whatever you want to print, and whatever is highlighted down here in white, if I go to print active sheets, that will be what is printed. So we'll go up here to file, down to print. I'm going to have it send it to a PDF. And right now it says print active sheets. You can also print entire workbook or print selection, but I have print active sheets. And if I scroll down here, it says 1 out of 5. I can jump across and it'll show all of the sheets that I have highlighted to print, which are all of my balance sheets right now. If I would want to print entire workbook, it would print not only this cover page, but it would then print the balance sheets, which would be everything. And then it would go through and it would print all of the tracked breakdown. So you can see then it basically be printing them all twice if you wanted to do that. So either select the cover sheet and the balance sheet if you want to print everything, or you can unselect things by just clicking on it and then hold Control, and I can say I want to print all of my tracks separately so they're pre-broken down. I'll go to File, I'll go to Print, and then now we'll print, I'll switch it back to Print Active, and here will be my cover page, and then it'll break it down by track. So you see here, this is that 125 with the 4 fields, and then each of the separate ones, and this is trying to replicate what Nutman would do by printing by tract. And I'll go to print. I will save it. And if you did this to any regular printer that it would be attached to, it would pop open in that printer as well. So I will go back to wherever my downloads are. And here is my workbook. My font is set to 11, so it comes out a bit smaller. If you do want to increase the size of this, because it does come out a little bit on the smaller side, what you can do is up on the top, and this is unfortunately, maybe Joe will have a better way of doing this, but right now you have to just click on each of the workbooks and change the font there. 12 is usually pretty visible and it doesn't change any of the needs. If you go bigger than 12, you might need to expand some of these a little bit to see it, but 12 is usually pretty visible. Actually, oh no, hey, look at me. If you have all the workbooks selected and you go to change the font, it'll change the font in all of them. Look at that, I learned something new today too. So yeah, you select whatever down here you want. Just click in this upper corner here to select the whole sheet and change your font. And now it will be a size 12, which is a little bit more visible. There you go. And you can see here, it takes this land unit information in this row up there, and if it splits part of a page, it will split that. We're working on getting it so that how this land unit down here, this tract, is cut off for winter and it shows on a different page. We're working on getting it so that it will automatically cut off on that. But if that's something that really, really bothers you and you want to take the time to change that, you can go up here to page layout. Nope, I lied. You go up here to view, you click here, page break preview, and it will show you where the pages are breaking. So you can see exactly where the pages are going to be breaking. And you can scroll down and you can see this dashed line is where it's going to break. If you don't want it to break midway in there, you can shift that up to break at the land unit. You'll have to go up because going down won't change this. It won't make it smaller. But if you go up, now it'll break between Bojack Field and Bojack 2 instead of halfway between Bojack 2. And it'll display here what page you're breaking on. If that's something that will really bother you, you can certainly fix that. But if not, now we're displaying all of these rows across the top of the page. So it makes it a little more easy to follow because it'll say up here, land unit identifier, year, crop. So it'll show that this page 3 will start with soybeans in the summer of 2026. And I think, let me check the questions. Is there a way for the net needs column to merge rows for the same crop similar to needs column B? Let me go back. Net needs, so merge it so that it's just saying 100. Probably not right now because it's splitting it down by application. Joe also found that it'll create that if I have another, if I put, a ton of lime here, it would create kind of another row for the summer. And right now, that is to our best guess, keeping this spring, summer, fall, winter in order. That might be possible. Can it be changed so that it always comes out at 12 font? I feel like all of my balance sheet or all of my things in Excel always come out as 11, and that's like a setting in my Microsoft Suite almost, because it's the same way in Word. So that might be something changeable. I hadn't quite gotten to that one yet, but we are definitely have it on the list of things to make it bigger, add in the FSA, make that work. So we're gonna, if it's possible, we'll figure it out. So I was seeing if I could change my general font yesterday because a lot of my documents come out in that size, not just from the module, but I hadn't quite cracked that egg yet. But Jen did just drop in the chat how to change your default font and size in Excel and Windows. So if you are using that, we'll just go to File, go to More, go to Options, go to General. I have it as 12, so I guess it's just part of the module. So we'll check and make sure that it comes out, if it's possible to come out bigger. That's mostly what I had. I'm going to turn it over to Joe. He's got some really handy Excel workarounds that will highlight these in different colors if that's something you choose. And if it's not anything that works for you for the balance sheets, feel free to continue doing how it best works for you. These are just some tips and tricks that we found. You can certainly apply them to any other Excel usage you have. So if there are any other questions you have, drop them in the chat. But Joe, if you want to jump in, I will stop sharing my screen and you can show how to highlight the colors. And if there's anything I missed, feel free to mention it as well. And you are muted. I don't know if you have unmuted yet, if you're saying anything. I don't hear.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
See if I can get rid of this echo. Can you guys hear the echo, or is it just me?
I don't hear it.
Okay, I'll just deal with it. Let me share. You guys can see my screen?
Yep.
All right, I'm real fast just going to show you how you can make a table to add the every row striping, which makes it a lot easier for people to it's just a visual thing. So go to your main tab that combines all of your different tracks, and you're just going to highlight everything. And then you're going to hit Insert, Table. You can also hit Control T. And then this window is all correct. It does have header. It does header, so you're just going to hit OK. And then you get your bandage striping. If you don't like those colors, you just click anywhere on the table. Table design pops up here now, and you can go ahead and mess around with the visuals there. The issue with the table is that it's like a special set of data that Excel treats differently, and you can see how it unmerges this whole land unit used to be a one merged cell, and it gets rid of that because it can't have a merged cell in a table. And so this kind of eliminates your ability to do some cool things like eliminating duplicates and filtering and stuff. So I'm going to work on a workaround for that. It could be that once you've created this table, you'll be able to do things like say, okay, I only want to show 1 year in the plan. If you do it now, the problem is because there were blanks in that identifying column, it doesn't show up what like track you're looking at anymore or what field you're looking at. So I need to work on a workaround for that. But once I have that, I'll send an update with instructions, and then you'll be able to say, like, okay, I just want to look at the corn. It'll just show you that. The other thing you would be able to do is if you don't want to see all these duplicates, like 000s everywhere, you would be able to go ahead and, where is it? Remove duplicates. And then you can choose what columns have duplicates that you don't want to see anymore. So you could just like remove all those commercial NPK 00s and remove those. Again, the problem right now is that you're not going to have the field here on the column A, but I'll see if I can come up with a workaround on that. But anyway, just to make it into a table, really it's just an easy way to go ahead and get your visual striping, which makes it a little bit easier to see. And that's all I've got for now.
Marie and Nicole said they just left off the first column and that might work.
Yes, I tried that. So I'll show you that. If we'll convert it back to a range. It keeps the coloring when let me start fresh. Okay, so here's your balance sheet. So if you just want to leave that merged column, then just start with column B, and then the same thing, insert table. And then you just won't get the striping on column A, but you should be able to then go ahead, and filter to a specific year, a specific crop, or anything. So that's a really good workaround. Thank you for that suggestion.
trying to unmute myself from 5 different places. But that was kind of our tutorial for today, just a little walkthrough of what the layout is now, what everything means, and how to manipulate it. If anyone has any questions at any time about any of this or how to manipulate any of it or make it workable for you, please let us know. We're here to help. Like I said, I'm going to post this recording on the website. I'll email everybody with where it is when it's up there. And I know this is a bit of a bumpy learning curve, and it definitely got off to a rough start at a not great time of year with the state year turning over. But it really will be an asset down the road. Just know that we're making these changes to try and stabilize everything as best we can and make it as usable for you as possible. And so the questions and that you put in the chat, if it's possible, we're going to make them work. It will be updated like everything has as we figure it out better. So if there's any input you have, feel free to email me anytime with it. We're always here to make it better. And yeah, if you have any other questions, put them in the chat. Feel free to unmute yourself right now.